Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole. I have very hooded eyes and I tend to do a lot of eyeshadow tutorials that work for my hooded eye guys and gals. But don't worry if you don't have hooded eyes, this will totally work for you as well. You just don't have to really build your crease. So anyway, as you can see by the title of this video, today I'm recreating this look right here, which was inspired by DESI Perkins' most recent video. Such a good video, love the look. She was inspired by another person that she saw on Instagram. So I'll make sure to link everything down below and give credit where credit is due, but I was so inspired by this look, and it has been a hot minute since I was inspired by a YouTube tutorial. So when I saw this literally about 8 hours ago, first thing I wanted to do when I got up was recreate it on my hooded eyes and help you guys if you have hooded eyes. Desi is such a talented artist and she has a huge audience, and I know sometimes it can be difficult when you watch all these YouTube tutorials when people have the perfect shape eye, and then you might have a hooded eye or a monolid or downturned eyes or something like that. So I wanted to recreate this on my hooded eyes to kind of help you guys out. So it is a little bit different, but I was very, very inspired by her look. So make sure to go check out this video after watching my video, or pause my video, go watch it, whatever works best for you guys. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look right here, inspired by Desi, who was inspired by someone on Instagram, make sure to keep watching. So the first thing we're gonna do is ignore the background noise. My upstairs neighbor is listening to some old time show. I feel like I can almost hear every word, so I'm sure you guys can hear it. We're gonna ignore my very dry under eyes, and we're gonna ignore my sick voice. When I get sick, I get really, really dry under my eye and on my eye, and I get really sensitive, so I can't really apply my eye cream. So we're dealing with a dry eye, but we're gonna go ahead and work past that and get started. So the first shade we're gonna take in the James Charles palette is Punch Me, and I'm gonna start to work that into my crease area. Now, as you guys know, I don't have a crease, I have a hooded eye, so I kind of create my own crease. And over time, through practice, I've just kind of learned what looks best on my eyes, and that's my advice to you. Just keep practicing, like Dory, just keep swimming. You just have to keep practicing and figure out what works best for you. So I know exactly where I apply that, and it's basically from this area all the way in. I feel like because I do it so much, I can almost see a shadow at this point. I'm not sure if you actually can, but in my mind I can. So I'm gonna start with Punch Me and just start to build out that fake crease. And I'm just using a Wet n Wild fluffy brush from their Walgreens set. So you could see if I was applying it in my crease, I'd be going right in there, and when I opened my eyes, that would completely disappear. So I'm just kind of bringing that above, and I start very lightly in the outer corner, and then I'll dip again, and then kind of start to form the shape. And I'm also holding my compact Charlotte Tilbury right down here, and I'm looking down into it so I could totally access my full lid. If I was looking straight into a mirror, because I have hooded eyes, I wouldn't be able to see anything. And I do take that right the way into the inner corner here, where my nose almost starts to contour. That opens up my eyes because I have really no inner corner, which is something that I find a lot of people who have hooded eyes here on YouTube still have, and that makes a world of difference. So when you have kind of a monolid, you don't have an inner corner, and it makes things a lot more difficult when it comes to shadow. So by taking that shade in to the inner corner and pulling it in rather than going down. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I do go down. It just kind of opens up my eyes. All right, so now you can see I have what looks like a crease area, and you could still see it peeking out a little bit when I open my eyes because I created that shape above my crease area, if that makes sense. So the next shade I'm going to dip into is Mary, which is a little bit more of a burgundy, not pink, it's kind of like a burgundy mauve shade, and I'm gonna take that just in the outer corner area right here to start, and then once I kind of build up enough color, by the way I'm using a Smith 230, I'll start to kind of carry that over into the crease area. The brushes on this or bristles are a little frayed and it's like tickling me every time I touch my eye. All right, and then because most of the color is off of my brush, I'm gonna just take that right into the crease lower than where we applied Punch Me. And then we're gonna take this all over the eyelid, but we're gonna dip into another color before we do that. All right, so now I'm dipping into Mary and just a tiny bit of You're Kidding, just to give it a little bit more of a pink cranberry tone. Again, starting on the outer corner to press most of the product there. And then I'm gonna just start to work that all the way over the lid so we have a nice sheer wash of color. And this is the same Smith 230. And then I'm just taking that first Wet n Wild brush and just making sure everything is nice and blended. So now we're gonna deepen things up a little bit. So I'm gonna dip into Boutique, and I'm taking that on this really small shader brush. I got this from like Amazon, somewhere really cheap. So just a tiny shader brush. e.l.f. makes a really good one. Don't know where mine is. But I'm gonna start with Boutique, and then we're gonna dip a little bit into Spooky a little bit later on. But I'm gonna start to kind of deepen the outer corner area. If you had really heavy hooded lids, you might wanna leave it at this step and be good to go. But adding a little bit of darkness here just really kind of rounds out the look. And like I said, we're trying to mimic kinda the look that DESI did, and I'm fairly confident. I only watched it once last night at like midnight, but I'm fairly confident she deepened her outer corner at some point. So little by little, we're taking Boutique to deepen. Grabbing my Morphe M507, I'm just gonna start to blend. And then note, this is something that I talked about in my Hooded Eyes do's and don'ts, what YouTube isn't telling you. I think that video. I do not take this darker color all the way in where my crease is. Hopefully I didn't just get shadow on my nose. I did, great. But like I was saying, I don't take that darker shadow all the way in, like right here, because that makes my eyes look way too heavy and way too hooded. So DESI takes that darker color in most of the way, I think, as most people who don't have really hooded eyes do. But for me, that makes my eyes just look way too heavy. So I keep it really just on the outer third area, and the darker I get, pretty much the tighter to the lash line and the farther out I like to go, just because it's a little more flattering for my hooded eyes. So speaking of that, I'm gonna take that Morphe M507, really lightly dip into Spooky because this black is so pigmented, and as you could hear, I tapped it off. Starting at the lash line first, I'm gonna just start to deepen a little bit, and this is gonna make it look a little more like cranberry, holiday-ish, and this will just make the glitter pop a little bit more. And then grabbing my Wet n Wild brush, once again, I'm just gonna blend everything out. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that for now, but before we go in with the glitter, I wanna go ahead and take some shadow under my lower lash line. I've just been liking seeing that so I can get like the overall look before I go in and add anything. So going in with Boutique, I'm gonna hold my mirror up and just add that under my eye, and then I will blend that out with a little bit of Punch Me. All right, so I added the lower lash line. I keep wanting to lick my lips because this lipstick is so dry. I did it for the look to kind of mimic what DESI did, but matte lipsticks are not my favorite thing, especially when I'm feeling sick. But anyway, we're gonna go in first with this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Sequin. Looks like this. These are so pretty. I love them. They work really well for my hooded eyes because I don't get too much fallout. So we're gonna start with this on a brush. This is an e.l.f. concealer brush. And I'm gonna start by putting that pretty much from like here to the middle of my lid. And yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of fallout, but it's okay. I'm also gonna switch to my finger a little bit here, but I do wanna start with the brush. You know what, just kidding. I'm not gonna start with brush. I'm gonna start with my finger. So DESI used a number of different glitters to kind of get like a really chunky effect. I'm using a couple different glitters, but not as many as she is, and I'm not going in with such a chunky glitter because I just simply don't have one. But I'm gonna start with that, and then I'm just gonna take a brush and kind of pat on top of it just so everything is nice and even and where I want it. And then I'm just gonna blend that outer corner a teensy bit with that same Amazon brush and Boutique. Just so there's like a nice fade. And then I'm gonna go in with my NYX glitter glue. Same concealer brush, and I'm just gonna pop that right on top of the ColourPop shadow. I can't remember why I did this with this eye, but I know I did it this way. I think because I wanted something a little more intense and the ColourPop wasn't like giving me enough of an effect. And then we're gonna layer another on top of this. I just wanna follow exactly what I did with this eye on this eye. And we're gonna go in with Shook from the James Charles palette. And I'm just taking that again on that same concealer brush, and I'm gonna pat that right over. Feel free to do this in whatever order you like. This is basically just the same shade. The NYX glitter glue just really helps to kind of adhere the shimmer. I'm just kind of patting that right over. And then to further intensify things, which you could see on my lower lid right there, I took the Stila Magnificent Metals in Enchanted. These are not great for hooded eyes. The glitter really does transfer and fall down if you try to blend it, but I had it and I wanted to get a different kind of texture like DESI did. So I'm gonna just pretty much take this, I'll wipe a little off on the back of my hand first. Pretty much just gonna leave this on my actual lid area. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm just gonna start by kind of dotting it on. And I don't want to look up because it's gonna definitely transfer. And then I'm just gonna kind of start patting it with the e.l.f. brush. And then I'm just gonna take Shook once again and pat over that because I find, like I said, I need to set these or they're gonna transfer. I think this side might be a little more glittery than that side right now, but we're gonna blend a little bit. So going back into that Morphe 507, I'm gonna take a little bit of Mary and start to, once again, just work these edges a little. And then a little of Boutique on a pencil brush. And then a Smith 247, little bit of Mary for these edges. All right, cool, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna open up the inner corner a little bit with Sister, which is kind of like a pinky highlighting shade. And I'm just gonna take that on this Firma 202 brush. It's just an angled brush, and I'm gonna pop that right in the inner corner area. I just like how this like fits perfectly in my inner corner. It kind of reminds me of that like JD Wadey 180 brush that everybody talks about with Luxie. Kind of the same shape. Pop that right there as well. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with my Sigma E06 winged liner brush, the best liner brush if you have hooded eyes. It's just a very tiny brush. And I'm going into Spooky, and I'm going to just really get really tight, I'm going to get really tight to my lash line and where basically the fold is from where my lashes are growing out. I'm gonna start to apply that all the way from outer corner to inner corner. In the video, Desi really wings her liner, but that doesn't look right on me, so that's why I'm doing this. This will give me the darkness I'm looking for, but it won't take any of my lid space away. And I'm also gonna throw that right on the lower lash line. Alright, so looking pretty good. So I'm gonna quickly pop offline. I'm gonna apply my lashes. I'm using the Eylure France is So Pretty, the Eylure Jasmine Brown lashes. Honestly, not my favorite for this look. I would have preferred a more chunky lash to kind of really give it that like wow factor, but these are the only lashes I have. I really need to go buy lashes. So I'm gonna do all that and then line my lower lash line, as you can see with this eye here, with like a burgundy liner, upper lash line with a black liner, and then I will meet you back here to show you the final look. Alright you guys, lashes are on and this is the completed look. I feel like while I put those lashes on, I progressively got a little more sick. This eye is starting to water so bad, so some of my mascara is off, but I think you guys can get the point. I had so much fun doing this. I haven't been inspired by like a YouTube tutorial in quite a while, so it was really fun to kind of recreate a tutorial that a lot of people have access to. Desi is such a big, talented influencer, and it's nice when you don't have the same eye shape to kind of see it applied on a different eye shape. As you can see, I have hooded eyes, so I had to tailor a little bit, but I pretty much followed the same. I hope this inspires you to get out there and try some YouTube tutorials that you might not normally go for if that person doesn't have your eye shape. Just get creative and tailor these looks towards what you have. I think sometimes that's forgotten in the YouTube world. Everybody has different skin, everybody has different eyes, everybody is different, everyone is an individual, and every technique has to be applied a little bit different. So I might try to start doing this a little more often when I get inspired by somebody's YouTube tutorial, if my eyes will stop watering. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope this was helpful to some of you. Let me know if you guys have any questions, as always. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.